Well, hello. This is the Friday end of chapter 3. And I turned on the recording a little bit early, but that's okay. So see if you can pronounce the Greek. Here's how I would do it. Humes este, hoi huioi ton propheton, kai tes diathekes, heis diatheto, hotheos pros tus pateros humon, legon pros Abraham, and here's a quote, because we have a capital letter, direct discourse. Kai ento spermatisu, en eulogethesontai, pasai hai patriae tesges, verse 26. Humin proton anastasos, ho theos ton paida, autou, apestelen auton, eulagunta humas, ento apostrophein, hekaston, apoton poniaron humon. Okay, see if you can translate that. Here's the lovely rain outside. And here's my translation. You, again, this doesn't have to be here. Well, actually it does. Well, no, it doesn't. It doesn't because the este, the te on este means you are. And so the humes means you are. I didn't find the este immediately. That's why I said by wavered there for a second. You are the sons of the prophets. You are. Emphasis. And of the covenant. You are sons of the covenant. That, a relative pronoun. Notice how, again, because of peer pressure, its antecedent is right next to it. It should have been accusative. But anyway, it succumbed to the peer pressure of the feminine genitive singular next door. And of the covenant that, by the way, the fact that this is feminine does suggest that this is referring to covenant rather than prophets, because they match. The covenant that God commanded to the fathers of y'all, saying, it's a nice little present participle of Lego, saying to Abraham, quote, and in the seed of you, they will be blessed. All the families of the earth. All the families of the earth will be blessed in you, future passive here. Now, Paul in Galatians makes a big deal of the fact that seed is singular. But in Romans, he doesn't, which shows that he can use the same verse in different ways to make similar arguments without them necessarily agreeing in which interpretation he's using. In Galatians, he used the argument that the singular seed is Christ. In the seed of you, meaning Christ, the singular seed of Abraham. However, in Romans, he goes more with the seed as a collective noun. It refers to many, many seeds. So even though it's technically singular, it refers to a multiplicity of entities. And so in Romans, Paul doesn't make that one seed equals Christ argument. So he's trying arguments out. You can see him there at the Hall of Tyrannus in Ephesus. And of course, not everybody agrees that Galatians was written from Ephesus. That's me. Trying out some of these arguments in a kind of school-like fashion. So in the seed of you will be blessed all the nations of the earth. What is the seed here in Luke? That's a good question. What does Luke understand the seed to be? Of course, Peter speaking in Luke. But I think, as I've said, Luke and Peter would blur. These aren't just recordings of speeches, I don't think. Well, let's keep going. I was trying to reflect on who the seed is in Luke's mind. Verse 26, to you first, having cause to arise, God sent the servant of him, servant son, Isaiah 53 imagery here, sent him, having caused his son to rise, having caused his servant to rise. Again, there's an understanding of Isaiah 53, I think, the suffering servant in the background here. So maybe seed is Christ here, maybe. Blessing you, sent him, that is Jesus, to bless you, blessing those with Jesus, with him. So Jesus is the one blessing y'all. In the to return each, this is a infinitive game, as I'll say in a second, expressing timing. When each returns, when each turns from the wickednesses of y'all, from your wickednesses. Okay, that's a mouthful. Let's dig in a little bit deeper and do it again, shall we? But you, emphasis, personal, being used intensively, you are the sons of the prophets and of the covenant that commanded, we'll parse this in a second, that God commanded to the fathers of y'all, saying to Abraham, and, get in direct quote, and to this, in the seed of you, Jesus, will be blessed all the families of the earth. I put land because earth would have required another line, but it is a reminder that they did not think earth, when they used the word geis. They thought land. And I assume that most of Luke's audience thought the world was flat, for example. To you first, God having caused the servant of him to rise, after, maybe we could use this temporally, to you first, you Jews, after God caused his servant to rise, he sent, so to the Jews, Jesus came to the Jews first, and through Peter, and then, of course, in Jerusalem, that's where the mission begins, right? He sent him to bless you. He sent him blessing you. But you can feel that there's a purpose there, isn't it? It's a purpose. Sent him to bless you, in order to bless you, I think, and that's okay. You can that's a possible use of the adverbial participle. In the turning of y'all, when you turn, each of you, from your evils, from your wickednesses. Okay, not easy Greek to me, at least. But let's move on to the parsing. So this is diatithemi. I just have memorized it. I mean, well, when I see the theta epsilon, first thing I think with theta eta is aorist passive. But then I also think, that's kind of central. I wonder if that's tithemi, and it is. There's no funny reduplication, so we've left the present stem. This is aorist. Amen, eta. Those are middle or passive endings. And since there's no theta eta of the aorist passive, I'm going to go with middle. It's not a me verb, so I think it's a genuine middle. What kind of a middle is it? God commanded. God himself commanded. It might be an intensive middle, emphasis on the God. God himself commanded you. Maybe I'm overreading it. Emphasis of the authority of Jesus, of God. Third singular, to. There you have it. Commanded. And this is the augment there. En eologethesatai. Theta eta sigma is future passive. Anti is third plural. It's indicative because of the omicron connecting vowel. En eulogeomai. Okay. Anastasas. We finally found Anastasia. Okay. Sigma alpha is aorist. Sas is a lose, sas, son. It's a participle. Nominative masculine singular participle. I just have it memorized. From anistemi, to rise. This is a causative active again, I think, to cause to rise. Anestelen, this is another liquid verb, gone wild. And so liquid verbs don't do sigmas. All I have is the epsilon to go on. A nu with an epsilon in front of us. A movable nu, often, throw it away. Epsilon is very common, past tense, active indicative third singular ending. Just from that N, I get all of this stuff there. Double lambda liquid verbs lose one of their lambdas in other stems. Internal lengthening from an epsilon to epsilon iota. There's our augment, and there you have it. This is a participle. My nt is an active participle. It matches with auton, which is accusative masculine singular. So that's what this alpha must be. It must be accusative masculine singular. Archon and ta santi anta, accusative singular. Crash, little crash there because it's eulogeto. The epsilon crashes with the omicron of ant to ooh, it's a crash. But all the letters, the present stem are there. So blessing, sent him blessing you. And then we trust the force, Luke, and we can hear in order to bless you in it. Okay, you sneezed, Jesus has come to bless you. Ento infinitive, this is a present active infinitive from apostrepho. So all the letters are there, and then we have the ain, the infinitive ending. So ento infinitive is a temporal construction, or an infinitive of time. We translate it with while, or when, something like that. Contemporaneous time, by the way. There are other prepositions that would be used for prior time or subsequent time. So at the time when you turn, at the time when each turns. Again, you can't really translate it literally. You have to know the game. Okay, well, this has been Acts 3, end of the chapter, 25, 26, I think. Starting next week, unless I hear serious pushback, and I'm very flexible. In fact, if the more patrons, the more flexible I am, believe it or not, a good capitalist that I am. Anyway, so next week, I'm going to probably try to do all of chapter 4 of Acts. So I'm going to switch, I think, to a chapter a week mode. And I'm not going to do all this extensive analysis. So I'm not going to do an interlinear, and I'm not going to do a parsing page. I may do some parsing, and I may do some detailed analysis. Probably will. I can't help myself. But I'm going to be doing larger tracts of land, about maybe 5, 6 verses a day. And I'm just going to mainly be translating, not pronouncing it, and so forth. So if that doesn't gel with you, please tell me, or I can maybe do this once a week. But I'm spending, a fair amount of time creating these PowerPoints. I mean, it's all in my head, mostly, but these PowerPoints take some time. And so I may shift to just kind of reading. That way, all I'd have to do is cut and paste the Greek and go to town. Okay, well, this has been another chapter of Acts in Greek.